Have you ever struggled configuring the environment for your project, spending hours setting up the environment and the tools versus doing the real thing, coding? Or have you heard people say, it works on my machine? Or have you ever wished if you can have a real time collaborative environment where team members spread across the globe can effectively collaborate and contribute to a project? If you answered yes to any of these, then GitHub Codespaces might be the solution you are looking for. GitHub Codespaces, in short, provides an instant cloud-hosted development environment for your GitHub project, pre-configured with the necessary tools, runtimes, and dependencies for a specific project. In this video, we will explore what GitHub Codespaces are and how they make the life of developers so easy. Understand some of its configuration and customization options, its lifecycle, the pricing options, and then illustrate it with a real-world demo of launching a Codespace and working with it. So what is a GitHub Codespace? GitHub Codespace is an instant cloud environment for a GitHub project accessible from a web browser. It is essentially a container running in cloud pre-configured with your tools and dependencies, so it provides instant consistent setup for the entire team. You can customize it with your preferences like themes, databases, versions of Node, Java, etc. It integrates with GitHub so you can commit and version control it right from inside. And when you commit your configuration to the GitHub repository, it enables launching the web environment in a consistent manner for all the team members and allows the team to collaborate effectively. In terms of the pricing, here I am on GitHub's website. Codespace is free for individual use up to 60 hours a month and comes with simple pay-as-you-go pricing after that. It provides a fully configured environment with preferred tools and extensions, and it comes with every GitHub plan and repository at no additional cost. It is also available for organizations with a pay-as-you-go pricing and has pricing controls so any company or team can determine how much they want to spend a month. Let's click on this link here. As you can see, all GitHub personal accounts and GitHub Pro include a quota of free compute time and storage for GitHub Codespaces. Any usage beyond that is based on the time and resources consumed. Please consult GitHub for the latest pricing details. We will use the free plan for our demo. Let's talk as to how we can configure our Codespace. So here I am logged into my personal GitHub account. Here is a repository for a project I did some time back, Spring Boot file upload. If you click on the green button for code and then click on the tab for Codespaces, currently we have no Codespace. Clicking on the three dots, we see New with Codespace. To launch a new Codespace, here we can choose the branch we want to launch it off from. I just have the master branch in my project, the geographical region we want to launch it from, the machine type we want. Going back, we can also configure our dev container, for example with Java, etc. Going back, then there are options for setting up pre-built configurations. We can set the pre-build on every push or on a scheduled basis, access control, etc. Then we have a share deep link where we can send this link out to our teammates whom we want to collaborate with on this project. Alright, now let's launch a Codespace. So click Create Codespaces on Master and it launches an interface which is Visual Studio Code on web. So this is running on a container which has software like runtime and tools for Python, Node, and Docker, and a whole lot others pre-installed. Upon launching, Codespace detects that it's a Java project, so it recommends us to install the extension pack for Java. Let me click Install. It starts. In the meantime, we can see here it is running a post create command after the machine build, which is completed now. Let's go to our project, go to the main application class for Spring Boot. We can run it using the run button here, or go here and choose Run Java. We get a prompt that Run Debug Java requires Java language server to run in the standard mode. It opens the Java project, checks details. Here are some warnings and suggestions, and it can enable them for us if we want. The project gets started, and we get a prompt that the application is started on port 8080, and we can open it in a browser by clicking this link. So clicking the link, it takes me to a forwarded port. Here is the interface we had built in the project. Let me click Choose File, and let me choose a file, let's say steps.txt. Click Upload Files. It is successful. Going back to the project, we see the upload folder, and here is our file. So in just a few clicks, we have a working environment with our Spring Boot project configured and running. How easy it is, and showcases the power of Codespaces. If you want to go back to the suggestions, we can click here. Here are the warnings. To see the forwarded port, we can click here, where we can copy the URL of the running app, or click here to open it in the browser. On the right, it opens the GitHub Copilot window, where we can choose the mode, choose the LLM, etc. So it's a fully functional Visual Studio Code IDE on the web. Now we install the Java extension for this instance only. But if we want to customize our container so that the other team members don't have to do it, and they get all the customizations when they launch a new Codespace, we can do it by creating a file called devcontainer.json. So going back to the extensions, we want this extension to be a part of the dev container. So let me click on the gear icon and choose Add to devcontainer.json file. It says we don't have a file yet, so let's click Add File so it can add it for us. There are several configurations to choose from. Let's choose Java Dev Container. Choose the default 21 version. It's a Maven based project, so choose that and click OK. It creates a devcontainer.json file. It also recognizes we have added and changed the devcontainer.json file and suggests us to rebuild the Codespace. We will do it later. And here we can see the base image it uses for Java and our Java extension pack in the customizations extensions. We can similarly add more customizations. So clicking on the extensions button, we can see a lot of other extensions we can install. Let's search for, say, themes. Here is a VS Code theme. It has themes like theme flat, mix, etc. Let's click on the settings and add this theme also to our dev container. Going to the devcontainer.json file, we see the theme here. We also need to specify which theme type to apply, so let me paste the settings here for the workbook color theme to be theme. Now we can have the features and extensions we have added by clicking here and choosing Rebuild Container. It will preserve our existing changes. It is rebuilding our container. Now it is applying the extensions in our devcontainer.json file. And here we see the dark theme come into effect. Now these changes would not be visible to other team members unless we commit these changes to our GitHub branch. And we can do it right from within the container. If you click this icon here, it shows we have these changes which are still untracked. We can use the familiar commands from the terminal also, where when we type git status, we see the untracked files. We can add them using the interface. So let's add the devcontainer.json file, and then we can commit and push from here if you want. Or if you're more comfortable from the terminal, let's run git status here and we can see that now there are only 2 untracked files. Let's do git add dot to add them all. Click allow. Git commit -am changes for the GitHub Codespace commits the changes. Git pull -r rebases our files. Git push pushes it to the master branch. We get an error that our project is configured for git LFS, and if you do not wish to use it, we can remove the pre-push file in the ./git/hooks folder. So let's cd to .git/hooks folder. ls shows the file, type rm pre-push, and it is removed. Typing git push now pushes it to the master branch. Going to the GitHub repository, we now see our changes. Now, let me close the container window. Going back to Codespaces, we see our Codespace here, and if we click the three dots, we can see several options to rename it or change the machine type, stop the Codespace, etc. The Codespace has a default timeout setting where after a certain amount of inactivity, it will stop automatically. We can open it again by choosing Open in Browser, and it opens up and comes up with our customizations. We can also delete the Codespace from here, so let's do that. Now let's say another team member of ours wants to start a new Codespace. They come and click Create Codespace on Master, and a new Codespace starts. It reads the dev-container.json file and applies the extensions for Java and the dark theme, and we get the same consistent Codespace as we had customized it. So it provides a mechanism for a uniform, consistent environment for anyone in the team. Let's run the Codespace, switch to standard, and our Spring Boot project is up and running. So in this video, we learned what GitHub Codespaces are. They are virtual containers running in cloud, the pricing model, how to configure our Codespace, launch it, customize it with extensions, commit to GitHub right from within, and how other team members accessing the Codespace or creating a new one will get the same consistent environment with all the customizations. Thanks for watching.